Hi, this is IK. Welcome to React Redux from beginning to end. Here it is, application. In this application, most important is core business CRUD. Create, read, update, delete. CRUD. Okay, let's get to see. It is a final product. And here in coding, first, when we enter address of web application or npm start in our editor, first loading in our browser index.html. This is index.html. That index.html, there is only one HTML element important for us. This is div id equal root. After finished loading index.html, that index.html calls index.js. Okay, let's see index.js, index.js, index.js loaded all React application, and it is an entry point in React application. We have here all what we must import, but here is important declaration of container. It is our div. It is our document. Document is index.html. Get element by ID is method of document object model, document object. And here is a parameter root. It means that container, that we declare object container equal div HTML element in index.html. Okay, and the second declaration, constant root, we declare a root equal function create root. Function create root code behind scene in background, all what it needed for application React start and work. It is create root, there is a parameter container. It means that our application, base fundament of our React application is a root. And that fundament is created by create root function. And with parameter container, it means that React application root will present what we see on the screen, all that coming through a div in index.html, through div in index.html. And after that, two important declaration. We start our application. How? Here it is, root.render. Render is method of our React application, and in parameter we have provider store, provider element, what coming from package React Redux, provider we need for a Redux, and that provider word said as provide access all components. Here is a fundament component, and because here is a fundament component inside of this element, it means all other components can be subscribed to Redux state. Provider element React element provider, install Redux, and give state of Redux, give access to app, to app component of React. And properties of provider is a store equal in curly brackets, concretely store. It is a store what store, we code it, look at here, a store, store practically declare or consolidate or code store, Redux store, and Redux, and in that store, reducer. We have only one reducer because we have only one state. It is array of post. Store is here. Store, here it is. We declare object store equal configure store. Configure store like create root. Here, configure store does all for us instead of us what need to have a store, Redux store, and inside Redux store to have reducer, concretely post, it is name of our only state, and here is a post reducer. That complete post reducer coming from, it is configure here in post slice. And before we go to see in post slice, index, I will be back in index.js. Index.js, I must conclude here. Here in index.js, after this rendering, we have running React Redux application running. We have all run. We have initial state in Redux store. We have Redux, we have store, we have React application, all running and waiting. What waiting? Waiting rendering of app. Rendering of app component, fundamental component. When finished rendering, we will see content on the screen. But now I must explain rendering of app. Look at that. I spoke about store. I finished with that story about store. It is post slice. Post sliced code, this script is all about reducer. One reducer, what we have in store. At first, reducer must have initial state. Here it is. It is initial state. It is state what we have at first. This state is three properties: post, status, and error. And when we have a component finished rendering, etc., when we have component initial rendered, they find initial state, and okay, about that later. And here is a reducer. Initial state is we need for reducer. Reducer cannot be without state. State is output. Input is state, copy of that state, and action. Now we have only initial state and we have no action. Okay, here is a tank. Tank, a function. What we must, what coming from Redux. And Redux don't understand only understand synchronized process, but don't understand asynchronous. And because of that, tank function uh, does all job about asynchronous action. For example, get to mock server and get post array from mock server, or add new post, or update post, or delete post. All that we must use a tank because it is process what go out of the uh, synchronized process. It is asynchronous process, and for every of that process we must have tank function. Here is a tank function for tank function, and that tank function and reducer is declared here with add case every dispatch tank have a possibility to dispatch type of action, to dispatch action. And because we have initial state output of reducer, we can copy that. It is input. Copy of state would be input in reducer. But we need action to change in immutable way, change state. Okay, this is add case. Here is created. Here is declaration. All this post slice is declarative programming. Why we need? Why in React happen declarative programming? Because of boilerplate. There is a lot of boilerplate before last Redux toolkit. Redux toolkit is phenomenal. Remove a boilerplate in background, and we don't write it. We must write a minimum. And when we write a minimum, it is declarative programming, and it can be confused, but you don't be confused. This post slice is about reducer. Create a reducer in store. For that reducer, we must have input in a reducer. It is state, copy of state, and action. We need action. Action is payload. Payload is what coming from mock server. It is post, and it is all created here. Action and the state input, and output is a state, because of that is a reducer. 2 input, 1 output. State, action, input, output, state. I spoke about reducer. It is reducer. 2 input, get 1 output. And here is all about every we have one reducer, but here is about every action. And when we have initial state, but after that, from tank send, practically I spoke that send action in a really tank send action creator, but action creator create action. Reducer need action. And when you see here, there is a state, there is no action in pending type. Fulfilled, there is a state action. It is reducer, state action. But we don't send state. State is copy. of existing state. It means at first it is copy of initial state. And here concretely, action will be post, array full of post. And after that, we will see post on the screen. But you see, we have a state and action like input to reducer, but it is only this state here. It is only for our orientation. It is something what we need right here in this declarative page, but not don't give anything to that input. That input exists because it is copy of existing state. Copy of existing state. Always copy of existing state. It means that action is important because action changes copy. And after that, it is a new state. Action changes copy of state. And after that, we have new state. In every other dispatch and every other action, we have same process. The action changes copy of state. Why we change this copy of state? We change copy of state. It is immutable way changing state. Immutable way changing state. Okay, it is, and this page post slides is excellent, structured. We write initial state, we write name of our object is post. Here is initial state. It is create slice coming with the Redux toolkit, like create root, like configure store. Here is a create slice. What slice? It is a Redux. It is a Redux store reducer. Reducer is that slice. Reducer. We have not reducer. We have here extra reducer that we with this difference naming, extra reducer, we differentiate reducer what coming in synchronized process. Here is, we don't have it here. And extra reducer what coming from when action coming from asynchron process. Okay, it is post slice and post slice, and we can continue with the index only repeating index.js because of this app. Look at app.js. There is a two component, add post form and post list. Write like this syntax, it is call component. For what? For execution. That execution we call rendering. And add post form and post list first rendered. Child. First rendered, add post form. It is only initial rendered. And after that, post list rendered three times. Can we see post list? And why it rendered three times? First time rendered here in post list. We have one post separate in component post excerpt. It is principle separation by concerns, separation by task. Post excerpt take care, it is component, but take care only about one post. And what do post list component? What is host of post excerpt? Post excerpt is a child of post list component. Post excerpt we use only here because of that is not separate in a file system, separate in component. But here writing in post list, here is a post excerpt. And post excerpt, there is a props post. And in post excerpt, coming post by post from array, and post list create a list of post. How? That create a list of post excerpt. Where it is visible, here it is. Here it is post list. Here it is post list. And in return, not in content here, look at post excerpt. If status equals succeeded, we have this arrow function is parameter of method map. And here it is post excerpt create list would be used for creating list. Here is props post and map, method map. Every array there is a method map. Method map take members one by one from array. It is post. And the arrow function inside map have access to that post and take it post in parameter here. And in the body we have post excerpt, and that post go like props in post excerpt, and would be created JSX of every post, and on the screen go only HTML structure, HTML page. Post list. Here is a post list. After post list, every component always have initial rendering. Initial rendering means that by a user selector, post list take what user selector return. User selector is a listener, is connected to state in store, in Redux store. And look at post. This moment is important for us post because it is array what we see on the screen or not to see on the screen. Post is what return user selector in initial rendering. Return what? This. Return initial state. And initial state is post empty. Array post empty. And during initial rendering, after initial rendering, we don't see anything on the screen. Because of that, we have user effect here. User effect start. It is a function what start immediately what would be called by event component was mounted, finished of mounting, finished of rendering. It means finished of initial rendering, call use effect. And in use effect, we start fetch post tank, dispatch fetch post tank, and fetch post is a tank what will dispatch at first pending type of action creator, after that fulfilled if all is okay, asynchronous process, fulfilled will would be finished action, and all the post in that action would coming to Redux store reducer. And second rendered, pardon, use effect start dispatch parameter fetch post. Fetch post is tank, and fetch post fetch post dispatch two times. First time pending type of action creator. It is nothing, it is waiting promise, it is empty array. And if all is okay, when promise coming, when promise would be returned, if all is okay, second dispatch would be fulfilled, and complete array from mock server coming to would be dispatched to like action payload is accessful, would be dispatched to reducer, and we will see that all post on the screen. Again, post list, initial rendering, empty screen. Use effect was called by event component was mounted. Dispatch fetch post, and fetch post, it is dispatch fetch post, and that fetch post is tank. It is an umbrella around over asynchronous process. In that asynchronous process, we have all Axios.get, Axios library method get. We have web address of our project on mock server, and that get method return object promise. Object promise will, if all is okay, will give back us in a response response.data, give us fulfilled, give us all post from mock server, or error, but here is fulfilled, here is all is okay. We spoke about that, and we see all post on the screen. It means initial, fetch post, dispatch pending type, action creator, dispatch fulfilled. It is three rendering of post list. And in the end, we have rendering post list. There is a child post excerpt. It means that in fulfilled, that post excerpt must render it 10 times if we have, for example, 10 posts for every post. But React, there is algorithm reconciliation what don't does it 10 times, but only one times. How? Algorithm know, not important for us. It is for performance. Why 10 times render it every when he can it does in batch and faster solution give us final product 10 post on the screen. Okay, and we see this moment, we see this moment we see this moment we see all that post on the screen, and when I refresh, it is just happened what I tell in that after refreshing happened all that what I said, what I talk about F12. Here is here we see that component up rendered, post list rendered, but here is a 3 times first, second, and only here array 3 post list, and only here post excerpt rendered. Here is a number 3. It means that there is a 3 post. But the post excerpt, it is console log. Post excerpt rendered is only one time console log show it. It means it is if post excerpt rendered 3 times like we like this one time we will see 3 times post excerpt rendering, but we see only one, and we see number that there is that actually post excerpt is rendered 3 times, but behind of scene with some short process of algorithm reconciliation. Okay, this is my. I try in a short time, as possible short, with as possible as clear my pronunciation, clear my talking, what is contrary to short time. Because if I want to be clear, I must talk slowly. But it is not that I must talk slowly, but I like talk slowly. And as short time, slow talk, talking clear, to talk all what happened in React Redux application, in React Redux application. But before video like this, from beginning to end, I have a lot of video where I long talking about some part of this whole process, and I try until I didn't be satisfied with my explanation, with my talking and explaining complete from beginning React Redux application from beginning to end, from beginning to end. I stay on React Redux in this playlist a long time, and I didn't go ahead. I look at it in code and thinking about code and create video and record my thinking, record my conclusion about part of code. And I must say you that I recommend you that you don't go fast ahead in learning. In learning concretely React Redux because it is without practice, without stopping, after every learning and stopping and experiment and write code, thinking about that, experience in coding, experience in thinking about a problem, you forget. As fast as you go ahead, as fast forget a thing behind. Okay, but life asks of us maybe that we go ahead faster, and who can go fast again? Okay, go fast again. Mm, Can be a lot of practice in the job, but I hope with the good mentors, patient mentor, all would be okay. Thank you for watching this video.